Section 12.2. We're going to be focusing on negative exponents. So if there's a negative power, what that means is we switch the position or take the reciprocal. So a to the negative n means 1 over a to the n. When I say switch the position, there's a few different ways we could think about this. Like if we have x to the negative second, one thing we could do is we could put it over 1 and then put this on the bottom. Have a negative on the bottom. Just bring it to the top. We don't want negative powers, so you just switch that position. You either bring it to the bottom or go to the top. So go ahead and get right into these problems. But if I asked you to simplify 3 to the negative second. So 3 to the negative second is the same thing as just 1 over 3 to the second. 1 over 3 to the second, of course, is 1/9. That's how you would do this. What if we had 2x to the negative third? Now, is the negative third on the whole thing, or is it just on the x? The x, right? So leave the 2 alone. The 2 is really 2 to the first. But because the x has a negative power, we put that on the bottom. So 2 over x to the third, that would be the answer. What if we had 4 over x to the negative fifth? Yeah, just bring it to the top. 4x to the fifth would be the answer. All right. How about x to the negative third over y to the negative fourth? Well, in math, you just follow the rules. Negative powers, I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to bring this up. The answer would just be y to the fourth over x to the third. What if we had x to the negative fifth over x to the negative third? So in this case, they are the same bases. What do we do if we have the same bases? We subtract them, right? Thank you. So this would be x to the negative fifth minus negative 3, or x to the negative 5 plus 3. And then that just turns into 1 over x to the second. Something else we could have done is we could have switched both x to the third over x to the fifth, subtracted them, you would have got the same answer. What about 3 to the negative second plus 3 to the negative first? This is 1 over 3 squared plus 1 over 3. 1/9 plus 1/3. We need a common denominator. And the answer would just be 4/9. About -3 to the negative third. We're going to hit you with all these different variations. When you have a negative power, you put it on the bottom. So this is 1 over -3 to the third, which is the same thing as -3 times -3 times -3, or -27. When you have a fraction, it doesn't matter where you put the negative. You can put it on top if you want. You can put it in the middle or on the bottom. A negative number is a negative number. What about x to the 4th, x to the 8th over x to the -6? Couple different properties. First thing we could do, this is the product property. That's x to the 12th over x to the -6. Now we could bring the -6 to the top and then add, or we could just use the quotient property and subtract. This would be x to the 12 minus -6, or x to the 18th. About m to the -3rd squared times m divided by m to the -4th. We have a power to a power, so we're just going to multiply these. That's m to the -6 times m to the 1st divided by m to the -4th. We'll just kind of slowly start to chip away at this. We could use the product property on top. -6 plus 1 is -5. Then -5 minus -4 is -5 plus 4. Our answer would just be 1 over m. A couple more examples here. If we had 8m to the 4th divided by 6m to the -2nd. Well, similarly to before, we could do 8 over 6, we'll reduce that, and we'll reduce this fraction. 8 over 6 is the same as just 4/3. 4 minus -2 is 6. And that's a good answer. You could write it like that, or you could write it 4m to the 6th over 3. It doesn't matter, they're both acceptable. And people probably just leave it as that first one most of the time, but either one is fine. And then the last example here would be a to the negative second, b to the negative third, divided by a to the fifth times b to the negative second, all to the negative second power. We have a couple different ways we can handle this. What I would do is I distribute this -2 first. So this is a to the fourth, b to the sixth, divided by a to the negative 10th, b to the fourth. This is the same thing as a to the 4 minus -10, and b to the 6 minus 4, which is a to the 14th and b to the second.